What's going on, guys? On a solo stream, a little bit of a late session, but things I like to do at night is make some plans, especially when I'm flat on position. This is the time to do it. Let's jump in the charts. Let's start off with BTC here. Over the weekend, we had a beautiful bounce, one that we were anticipating, right off of 67.3. I was bidding this sweep right over here. My stops held. We kind of had this really weird drop on a Saturday that I didn't expect. I thought that was gonna happen on Sunday, and we didn't really break down support here up until end of the weekend into early week open, where we eventually just chopped around and pumped up off that. There was liquidations below, but again, we did look to bid a logical sweep level. That 68.7 to 68.3 level was a good level to bid. Alt swang down a little bit lower than expected though, and there's some prime examples I'm going to show here in just a second. The 69.560 level is a key level to flip. I have a limit short a little bit higher. I do think that people looking to bid right here for a short, you get an easy invalidation, but is the RR really there? We had a really outlandish 4-hour candle this morning. I didn't expect that either, to be honest. And any one looking to move their stops pretty much flat or play tight invalidation right now is subject to chop, and that's just the nature of the beast. That's the nature of the market we're in. There's plays that you play that you take a loss on, whether it be a stop and it reverse directly off that, or a break even stop before the move actually happens. And if your directional opinion or bias of the market was right, consider that a lesson learned, not a loss. That's a win when you're correct directionally. That's missed execution when you're getting, taking out Pico bottoms on a very tight stop, or taking out break even right before the moves happen. And it's either psychological or it's just a habit, playing in the chop zones. I don't blame you, especially me too. I take profit pretty quickly also. In that position, I took profit right on this break when I woke up. So Zcash here, this was a play that I was looking for over the weekend. When we were in this order block here, it filled me, but it chopped us out until we eventually got stopped out. And then it moved up for, a cool nearly 2R on that play. Just about. This is going to happen in this type of market. It's a lesson learned. We got to make sure that we're taking note of to what's happening so that we can adjust for the future. And yeah, just been a frustrating go these last couple of days, but nothing we're not going to bounce back from. River, just another fine example. I was shorting up here in this little chop zone for a little bit, right over here. And then I flipped long somewhere in that zone where I was shorting. It took me out, granted a little bit lower than expected, before it had a massive pump up. Just a part of the game. Tao's the last one I want to go over because this is one I've been watching recently. I'm actually in that position from earlier today as well. After we looked to short, I took that stop and just flipped long. I know I stopped break even, but again, gotta focus on our books here. It's important that we're all trading our own books. There's people that spew trades every day, all day. Them trades gotta mean something. If they don't mean something, you're not taking them in the first place. I had a short here at 285. Granted, a little bit early. My stop was at 292. Obviously, took me out there. My TP was really into this 30-minute level of demand, which was my mistake. And again, that's a lesson learned. It was a good scalp, but that wasn't where I was looking to target fully anyway. So was it really a good position? Not when you're looking at this risk to return. This is a 1-to-1 risk to return. I shouldn't have taken that play because I was looking along that pullback anyway. That's where my TP was. That's where we flipped long, and we hit $300. So when you're looking at these highs painted and you have a potential low to take, one of those two are going to get taken. And I'd like to think that I'm really good at seeking liquidity, especially when I'm playing these liquidations, and in my opinion, the top was going to get taken before the short, before the low, I should say. That's why I went for that play. So I thought that was a pretty good execution on Tao. I do think it's approaching some good resistance here, especially when I pull up these fibs as well. But again, Tao's been compressed for quite some time. Do you really want to short something like this? We do have some 4-hour demand right down here. So that 30-minute level that I was bidding, you could still look to rebid in there. if you're lucky and you do get bids, but it's one of the most bullish alts out there. It's one of the only pairs you should be trading, and I just made a tweet about that as well. Like, if you're looking to trade coins, you're going to get a much better outcome on BTC. There's a lot better and cleaner price action to play. If you're not playing coins that are moving against or harder, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I can't say that because you can make money on things, right? Like, I mean, Zcash is one of those coins that I would classify as a coin to trade. PCH has had a strict uptrend here. Granted, it was chopping around. I mean, XRP, like, prime example. Like, you're not necessarily looking to always trade XRP. I mean, if you're familiar with the coin, like, this was beautiful, and you're familiar with liquidity, like, you see it chopping around, highs to lows, and now it's in the middle. One side's gonna break, whether it be the highs or the lows. You know, I kind of went with that long scenario, and it moved up on a deviation. Just follow where the volume is and where the actual, you know, traders are trading at. Like hype, I mean, obviously the last few days or so, it's been, you know, not really a tradable asset. But what about before that? You know, it was really the first mover, the most bullish one. Same with Fartcoin, we're seeing right here. It kind of held my level for a little bit, and now it's seeping below it. Is it going to go for demand at 16.4? Is it going to hold this level right down here and flip it back upwards, which in my opinion is a pretty logical level for you to want to see it hold and give continuation towards. No, I'm not stopping playing alts. I'm just not giving plays like that. I can't be doing that. It's ruining my fucking perception of things for no reason at all. I'm a firm believer that if you've made it and you're here this long, you keep it by all means necessary, and you can trade a lot less and make a lot more. And I know how to do that. So let me not just chop in between and be frustrated that I'm losing trades here and I'm not executing on my own books. So I'd rather just us execute firmly with my main trades, and then alts I'll just give analysis on. I think that's fair. And it makes me a lot less stressed. There's no reason for me to feel the way I do on these tight moves when I'm, in retrospect, you know, in a long from BTC after being underwater all day on the weekend, and it's a lot bigger a position than some of these alts. You know, like, it comes with the territory. I get it, and I appreciate the support. I like Sol on this deviation here. It pumped just like the rest of the market. So we want to see it flip this 91.59 level. I don't hate shorts for it around here, because if we were to reject, I can see alts rejecting a little bit harder. And Sol is one of those levels that when we're at resistance, it wants to not really look to push much further. There's been a few times that Sol has pushed this resistance. The wick just barely wicked in. So 1, 2, 3, 4 times over that resistance line. It's looking for its fifth. If you want to play your invalidation at 94.50, I think that's fair, assuming that you don't get a wick as high as this one. I don't think that's a horrible decision for a short. Maybe into something like this, into a higher low for a push up here. Maybe this could be something to watch out for. Let's make a plan on BTC. I'm gonna look at ETH. I just haven't traded ETH in a while. I'm just gonna take a look at the weekly. So the weekly, like, I like it a lot. Same with Tau. Like, I like the weekly on Tau. It's already pushing. On BTC, if we were to push, and we still have 5 days and 23 hours left. If we're going to push this weekly candle pretty aggressively, there's, I mean, no reason to short anything in between, because we should be going at least for these highs, which should bring us to 80,000. And we're holding a good order block. So in retrospect, it should pile up demand here, which is a logical place for it to do so, at the middle end of this previous weekly demand level, which I've been preaching for every single week we've traded within it. That's pretty much my next sort of feeling on it. We did open up the weekly with this flat candle right down here, but it's at the midway point through this weekly demand. I've seen so many times weekly demand levels, or just demand levels in general, flip the midline and just continue on. And like I just showed you my last chart for BTC when we opened up the stream, that was a logical level. That was your flip level. We swept significant liquidity that took us out of this level to sweep the initial highs. Like, this was, I mean, your level to bid. I think that was the bottom. So I think that you could look to either bid 69,650 aggressive. Yeah, I mean, I really don't see a reason for us to sweep the lows right now. But again, like, I am looking to short a little bit higher. So I do want to see what happens. And I don't want to place any blind limit bets for the lows on war news. especially since you've seen what's happening. It's a news-driven market. Like, you can't blame too much about what you're doing when it comes to these tight end validation stops, but you got to be smarter about what you're sleeping through and what type of plays that you're holding and all that good stuff. So if we see maybe something punching up like this, I would like that for a short, and then I would look for acceptance below 69,560, and then maybe look for the sweep right there. If we get a push to 69,650 again, maybe around this level for a sort of deviation sort of thing to look to flip, then I'll maybe look for a long there. Either way, maybe just put an alert down and see what happens from there. For ETH, I've had this opinion for quite some time. I wanted to short this 2240 to 2260 level, but if I'm thinking we're going to go higher on BTC, then I'm thinking the same thing on ETH. If we do push to 72, 73 like I'm seeing on BTC, then I can see ETH pushing up to 2240, 2260 being a good short, and we move on from there. We need to get a one-day close up on top of this block here. We have not gotten it. This is a level that I painted right back here. This was the top of this previous bear market that held us this last bull market, quote unquote. And now we're looking to kind of push up above it again. And I want to see what happens. We already retested this sort of weird volatile price action we saw today. We've retested the midline through. If we're going to start to close on top of the one-day closure and we start to accept above it, I'm going to assume that we're going to push the highs, right? We got highs to catch and we got lows to catch. So right now the RR doesn't really warrant, it warrants longs more than shorts because you get a cleaner RR, but who's to say we're not going to push down first, sweep liquidity, and then move back up from there, right? A lot of things have pumped that have been grinding into the weekend after deviating key levels. So I'd say just evaluate certain alts and keep an eye on BTC. And that's pretty much what's been happening. So how we started the stream is what I'm going to be focused on next. I think that psychology goes a long way. You don't want to be missing out on moves for the future just based off lower time frame price action, whether it be a few weeks, a few months. You want to make sure that your long-term opinion is stacked up so that when things start moving, you're not sidelined. There's going to be a bottom eventually, and that's always the nature of this market. I've been through it 3 different cycles. I've traded hard on 2. That's just how I'm thinking. That's how I'm feeling.